Let the records reflect Councilman McConnell, Councilman Thomas, and Councilman Hillsbeck is absent. There was as far as a 2/3 vote, there was an issue that came up. We discussed it with a couple of council members, and I don't see anybody here in regards to that issue. Ms. Suzanne?
Yeah, Mr.
Risky Dallas. Chairman of Fire District 1.
Fire District, where's Fire District number 1 Chairman? Chris? Chris, come on up here. The information in the packet that y'all want to push tonight did not get to the parish secretary in time to get it on the agenda. We would have to put it on under 2/3, or my question, and our question is it detrimental if we put it off to next Thursday?
Well, Jim Ryan was one we've been working with on this, and he's one to really answer that question better than I could. My understanding was it needed to be approved tonight to be able to go to the bond issue, the bond commission, for their August meeting. My understanding was if we waited till the next council meeting, then we would have to wait for the following bond commission meeting, which would be, I guess, in September, whatever, when the next time they meet would be. So that's my understanding. We were supposed to be on the agenda for tonight. I didn't realize we weren't on the agenda when I got here. So
That's the situation we got. What's the pleasure of the council?
Motion I add to the agenda, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Bowrigger, second by Mr. Ty Lambert to add Fire District number 1 bond request to be placed on the agenda. Any opposition? Having none, motion passes. All right, we're going to put that under we're going to put that as 7A, right after the parish president's report. All right, anyone else having any 2/3 votes need to be considered? All right. Number 4, anyone wishing to speak on public on an issue on the agenda, please come and sign a public speaker card. One announcement is that item 14A will be passed on tonight. This is not the first time it's been passed on. What we're going to do is anyone wishing to speak on item 14A, even though there would be no action taken tonight, we will still allow the public to speak on this particular agenda item. So if you're wishing to speak on this agenda item, please sign in with the secretary. All right, now moving on. Number 5, presentations, job and education fair. Councilman Thomas is not here, but if Ms. Tamika Francis is here, I'll recognize you and you can take the issue up if you can.
Good evening, President Hughes, council members, and fellow citizens of Ascension Parish.
You got PowerPoint? Yeah. We got a PowerPoint? All right.
Very quick.
Clancy saves the day again.
Thank you. My name is Tamika Francis Stroud, and I am a citizen of Donaldsonville. I'm also the event coordinator for the City of Donaldsonville's Job and Education Fair. The City of Donaldsonville has partnered with the Coming Together Social Club, which is a nonprofit organization in Donaldsonville, to host a job and education fair. Our current partners, in addition to the social club, are the Louisiana Department of Labor and the Donaldsonville Chamber of Commerce. Currently, we're also seeking potential partners from yourself, the Parish Council. We've talked to the Donaldsonville Tourist Commission, City of St. Gabriel, the Town of White Castle, and the Town of Napoleonville. They're currently making up their minds. And as you can see, I have a list of other municipalities that I need to talk to about partnering with us. Assistant coordinator is B.J. Francis Jr. for the job fair representing the city, and Bryant Barnes for the education fair representing the social club. And we currently have a St. James Parish contact of Kim Brass. We have other coordinators as well that are going to be assisting with the various logistics. These are just unemployment rates taken from the www.laworks.net. This is just for informational purposes. There are two segments. The first is workshops. Workshops are going to be held on Saturday, September 17th from 8 to 12, and the Job and Education Fair are going to be held on Saturday, October 1st from 9 to 4. The objectives of the workshops are to provide training to the citizens of Ascension, Assumption, Iberville, and St. James Parish as necessary to obtain employment, and also to provide one central location for this endeavor. The workshops include resume writing, online and paper applications, how to fill them out, dressing for success, and interviewing. Then LSU, we're still waiting for them regarding whether or not they're going to assist us with the resume writing. The Louisiana Department of Labor is going to teach the online and paper applications. Those are two business owners from Donaldsonville that are going to teach the dress for success. And interviewing is going to be partnered with Southern University and the Louisiana Department of Labor as well. The objective of the job fair and the education fair is to provide assistance to the citizens of those parishes with their job searches and educational searches, and also to do the same thing to provide one central location. The job fair, we're going to invite government agencies, industrial companies, corporations, and temp agencies. I have a list of the companies attached. For the education part of the fair, we're going to invite universities, colleges, and schools all throughout the state of Louisiana. Our focal point target market are going to be adults in those parishes, college students, and high school seniors are going to all have an opportunity to, here we go again. The adults, college students, high school seniors are all going to have an opportunity to find employment as well as try to pursue their education. Estimated attendance is about 3,000. We took this from the last job fair that was held in Donaldsonville almost 10 years ago, and according to the newspapers, it was the largest job fair ever held in the state of Louisiana. So we're going to try to double that. Estimated budget. The revenue, we hope to collect about $4,000 from the companies and schools that attend at $100 apiece to participate, and $10,000 from corporate sponsors and other individual sponsors. So that totals $14,000. Our expenses are about $13,000. Sponsorship. There are 4 levels of sponsorship: platinum, gold, silver, and bronze. And you receive different items depending on your level of sponsorship. I've talked to Coca-Cola, GSA, John Foss, the Rotary Club, CF, Walmart, Cox, ETEL, Attorney Chuck Long, Richard Oil, Makla Beverage, Whitney, Hibernia, First American, Congressman Charlie Melanson is giving money, Empire, Hancock Bank, and Representative Keyser. So we're waiting on responses as to the amount of money that they're going to assist us with underwriting the cost of this. In addition to the job fair, we're going to have a reception pending on money. Immediately following the job and education fair, it's going to be at Bernardo's. It's going to be invitation only. We're inviting, if you participate as a company or a school, you get 2 tickets. Sponsors get tickets according to their level of sponsorship. We're approximating about 300 people in attendance. Expectations. Primary expectations are to get the citizens of Ascension, Assumption, Iberville, and St. James employed. And also registration of those citizens to further their education. Our motto is coming together is a beginning, keeping together is progress, working together is a success. I'm asking the Parish Council to please consider joining our endeavor through a financial support or just backing. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time. Any questions? I've
Anyone have
included a
any
pack-
questions for Ms. Tamika?
You have a package in front of you, a sponsorship letter, the PowerPoint presentation, and a budget.
No questions? Mr. Tamika, let us go ahead and take this home and review it. If you've got any questions, we'll give you a call. All right? Thank you very much. Ms. Suzanne, please let the record reflect that Councilman McConnell. All right, number six, the consent agenda. Do I hear a motion to accept the minutes?
So motion.
Motion by Mr. Adrian Thompson, second by Mr. George Valentine. Any questions? Any opposition? Having none, motion passes. All right, number 7, Parish President's report. Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I apologize for walking in late. I had a long wait at the funeral home. We've had a couple of tragedies in our parish, and so that's where I was, and had a few minutes over with Mr. Hillenbeck still as well. Our first part of my report tonight is going to be given by the Finance Department and Public Works. It's going to be on just an update for you on the courthouse annex, where we are and what we're doing, and I think we need to move again, don't we? We use an overhead.
All right, another PowerPoint. All right.
Okay, good evening, members of the council and President Hughes. What we're going to do tonight is kind of review the process of the construction of the annex at the Courthouse East in Gonzales. It's been a long process, so we just thought we'd give you an update on exactly where we are. And you also have a copy of the presentation in booklet form. What we'll do is I'm going to go over some general notes and just the recap in itself. And then when we get to the detail of the revenues, that'll tell you where the money came from and exactly where it's been spent or encumbered to date. I'll let Assistant Treasurer Amanda Barat do that. And then thereafter, when we finish the whole presentation, which won't take very long, here to answer any questions you may have is the DPW Director, Bill Rue, and the attorney who worked on this case, Jeff Diaz. Okay, so let me just set the stage with some general notes first. The recap that you're going to see does not yet include the attorney fees and the arbitration fees that are involved in this case. The recap does not include URS, their recommendations for the corrections at the courthouse east, and that would be such as the lighting and the courtrooms and things like that. And it also does not include other items that have been presented to you for improvements, such as a fence, and that's a security fence that all the judges are requesting. And one more thing it doesn't include is the additional funds for Peepcoo Brothers Construction, and that's to their work on the renovations that's supposed to, the bids that will be received next week for the chambers, the council, and also it does not include the assistance they're giving also in the litigation process. So this is just a total recap of where we are today. The total revenues that we've allocated towards the Courthouse East expansion project is $7.3 million. The expenditures and encumbrances to date, the expenditures paid to date is $6.8 million. There's some encumbered, which means we already have some commitments on some contracts and purchase orders that have not yet been paid. That's $531,000. And then this is just an estimate. Like I said, the bids for the council chambers will be received next week, but the estimate we were given was $580,000. So the total expenditures, encumbrances, and this estimate is equals $7.9 million. So the fund itself has an estimated fund balance as of June 23rd of a deficit $603,000. Now, like I said, this is the recap, but what we're going to do now is give you some details of that revenue that was that funded this project and also the expenditures. So I'll ask Amanda to come now.
This is the revenues detail. Capital outlay funding was 3.1. Transfer in from the sales and use tax district number 1 was 3.4 million. Ascension Parish Sheriff's Office contributed $404,000. Ascension Parish Supplemental Environmental Project Fund, OEP, contributed $105,000. Ascension Parish Criminal Court contributed $41,000, and interest earned on the fund, all of the revenue was $264,000, which brought the revenue total at $7.3 million. Next is the expenditures and other detail. Expenditures paid to date is $6.8 million. Encumbrances by purchase orders is $900. Contracts, BF Carbon's contract is $149,000. Liens filed against BF Carbon's contract is $147,000. Subcontractors that the parish assumed the retainage remaining on it to finish the project is $173,000. URS is $33,000. Piku Brothers Construction's $24,000. Citywide testing $2,300. And the estimate for the council chamber renovation is $580,000, which brings your total expenditures, encumbrances, and estimated costs to $7.9 million. The next slide is just a breakdown of the estimation on the council chamber renovation. They estimate the construction cost to be $530,000, and the architect contract is $50,000. So the total estimated cost is $580,000. And as of June 23rd, we already paid the architect $37,000. Our next slide is BF Carbon recap. This is a recap on the original contract for BF Carbon. Original contract was $5.9 million. He had 16 change orders of a total of $244,000. The total contract with the change orders was $6.1 million. Then we had an application for payments and a memo of understanding and a deduction on their contract, which totaled $5.2. Subcontractor payments that we made already as on the subcontractors that the parish assumed to finish the project was $345,000. Subcontractors retainage is $173,000. Liens filed against BF Carbon contract $147,000, and then the proposed change order to reduce this BF Carbon's contract for council chamber was $73,000, which left a remaining balance on BF Carbon's contract of $149,000. There's a few notes about the recap. The amount of liens filed could be a little more because of legal interest until paid, attorney fees, and recording fees. One of the subcontractors, Amtech of Louisiana, they filed 2 different liens with the same amount, but they had different files, but we only listed one. BF Carbon was paid $8,500 to settle any alleged damages for supervision and overhead costs in accordance with the memo of understanding. That was above their contract amount. BF Carbon filed a lien in the amount of $734,000. Contracted with Piku as general contracting consultant to complete the project. We contracted with URS to review and evaluate the project with possible additional expenditures. And application number 14 was reduced by $1,540 for citywide retesting fees as authorized by the architect. So this is the overview of the courthouse, the whole project. Y'all have any questions?
Anyone have any questions for the courthouse report?
When will this,
Mr. Shakespeare?
just when is this going to be completed?
Council chambers, the bid opening is next Thursday at 4 o'clock. So that's the beginning of the end, hopefully. I'm anticipating completing the project, the council chambers, before the end of the year. That's our anticipation right now. But we won't know for certain until we open it and go through the contract negotiations with the lowest bid.
Anyone else? Bill, one other thing I'd like for you to do for the council is this estimated cost for the council chamber renovation at $580,000.
Yes, sir.
I would like for you to break that estimation down and tell us where it's going, as far as the acoustical panels, the computer technology and all that kind of stuff. Break it all down and give it to the council so we can see where this estimate is going to be spent.
I can tell you right now that the main areas of the major expense is, one, the audio-visual portions of the council chambers and everything associated with audio-visual, which is your panels, your soundproofing, your monitors, and things like that. We have, and in connection with that, we added a media room where all this can be fed into and going from there to actually broadcasting it live. So that's some of your major expense there. We picked up the standard of construction within council chambers as far as the podium where your council members are going to be seated. It's going to be much better than what some people think was in the courtrooms against it. So that's going to be a pretty good, a little bit more expense on that end. We're keeping the bleachers, but we're going to have them covered. So again, that's some more expense there. That's your major stuff.
All right, that's fine. I just want to some account on those expenditures.
And I'll give you, Mr. Chairman, if I may, I'll give you a little way of looking at this. The original council chambers, as proposed in the contract when it was given to Mr. Corbin years ago, only accounted for about 73. If you look in there, the reduction of what was in his contract, $73,750. Basically, that's what's all of the improvements that was going to be done to that council chamber. You basically were going to have the exact same thing you have in the old council chambers, except it would be bigger, and that's it. All of the improvements is going from that type of council chambers to a modern, state-of-the-art council chamber. So that's the big increase.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. President?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thanks, Gwen, and the whole team. No questions for the legal team, Jeff. You got off the hook tonight.
Just temporarily.
And let me just add this. This is something that obviously we all want to see come to completion. I think the original completion date was November of 2002. So obviously it's way, way behind. And even though we're spending more money on the council chambers, I think it's going to be an investment that will bring the parish up. It'll be a place for people to sit. And I want you to start thinking about, if you would, something similar to what St. Charles does, that one of their ordinances requires their boards and commissions to meet in that chamber so that they can flip a switch and the people in the community can watch it live, a committee meeting, a planning and zoning meeting, or a council meeting. And I think it's time for us to offer that service. And if we would require all of our boards and commissions to meet there, well, then that would give our citizens, give them a schedule, and they know at 6 o'clock on the first Tuesday of the month they can flip a switch. We can flip a switch. They turn their television on and watch a Recreation Commission meeting, for example, or a fire district, or a planning and zoning commission. So that would give us the ability to do that with the fees both in and out. And I guess when both bills going to be both E-Tail and Cox, isn't it? In that room to where we're better, either company can.
It'll be, in fact, where you can have anybody.
Okay.
Whoever the council chooses to negotiate with at any point in time can come in and just use it and direct feed to the media.
Thank you. The next thing on my report, remember a few weeks ago, Mr. Katz, our HR director, talked to us about some recommended changes in personnel, and he just has a few things he wants to discuss with you in that regard.
Thank you. One of the requests that came out of the Personnel Committee was to take the policy manual and highlight the changes, which we did. I'd like to hand it out to you tonight. Again, we'd like to get it on the council agenda as soon as possible. If we could do it next week, it would be fine. But the highlights, the changes are in red. If you have any questions, please give me a call or Richard Brown. I also understand we're going to need a resolution to adopt it if it's done, Ricky. So we'll have to do that. But we'd like to get this done as soon as possible. And that's really all I have. Just take your time and look through these.
Thank you, Roy. The last thing I'm going to just talk a little bit about, and I want to thank all of you who've been coming in, meeting with me on the budget. We've had some interesting discussions and conversations, and I appreciate it, and I think it's helping us to come together and better understand each other. The budget process this year is going to be more detailed and more structured. I think I understand the government financing a little better now than I did last year, my first budget. And so what we've asked each department to do is to really go through, and one of the principles that we're going to eliminate, which is really unusual in government, is that if we don't use it, we lose it, so we go waste the people's money. That is not what we're going to do. And I've instructed each department head and their agencies to make sure that as hard as all of us work for the taxes that we pay, to me it's a sin and a shame if we waste it. So they're looking at what they need to accomplish the mission of their department, to provide for our citizens the very best services that we can with the dollars that we receive from our citizens. Now, in that regard, I want to talk about 2 or 3 things that I think is very important that you think about between now and the end of the year, and I've challenged our department's heads to work on this. Number one, I personally will be working on the financial plan of Lamar Dixon, how we will pay and raise that money. And in that regard, Senator Vitter personally called me the last few days and has some good news, it looks like, in that regard at the federal level. Congressman Baker called me today with some positive news in that regard. And while we, on that subject, Congressman Baker and Senator Vitter both called today. If you haven't heard, the transportation bill, the federal bill, was basically passed last night in the conference committee between the House and the Senate. But what happened was the Senate ordered the House to reduce their appropriations by 20%. So our $10 million on Highway 42 was cut to $8 million in the House side. Now, hopefully we'll hear from Senator Landrieu and Senator Vitter that some extra money for our parish will be included on their side. And that was done across the board on the House side. All members of the House of Representatives and Congress were, in order to get a compromise with the Senate conferees, were ordered to reduce their request in their districts by 20%. So Congressman Baker's $60 million went to whatever 20% of less of that is. I think it was $54 million. So that's just happened last night. There's still some things working there, but I'm trying to call Senator Vitter and Senator Landrieu to see what they're doing. Now, in that regard, one of the things that is really important, as I discussed with several of you, is to build an administration building. And what I'm asking all of you to do, and we'll give you a budget to do that as part of the budgetary process this year. It will be multi-year in that we won't get it all done in 1 year, obviously. And we'll give you several options, but what I ask you to do is to separate the need to consolidate parish government from where we locate that building. We'll fight that battle later, okay? Let's talk about the needs. So each director's been asked to work in the, so what would the needs of this department be from now in the next 20 years? So we truly look at a facility. Right now we have, as you realize, people scattered all over the parish. It really hinders the effectiveness and efficiency of government. And so after 18 months now, I realized how important it is. Should have been done years ago. It wasn't. No anything we can do about it. Neither courthouse has near about the space we need for parish government. And so this is an issue that we ask you to work with us on as we negotiate the budget for this fall. And it'll probably be a 2 or 3 year phase period to pay for this and to do it. Another area that's important for us is the creation of a parish attorney within parish government. We've talked about this. If you've seen the paper Sunday in East Baton Rouge Parish, they selected a parish attorney with 35 assistant parish attorneys. With 420,000 people. We're between 90 and 100,000 now. And so one thing that we all need, and the assistant DAs are wonderful. They're friends. They do a good job, and they'll continue to work with us. We're trying to determine what we'll continue to do there, and what a parish attorney would do in-house. It appears to us it will probably cost us a little more money. We'll present that all to you in the budget. But we really feel like in the long run it will cost us less money through effectiveness and efficiencies that we will derive from that. We've sent a survey out to many of the boards, I guess all of the boards in the parish. Many of them have reported back that they think this would be helpful to them as well. And so we're studying this issue. We ask you to be open-minded as we discuss it. Most of the parishes along the river I've talked to had a parish attorney in-house for years now, not just a larger parish and a populous parish like East Baton Rouge. And so this is something we're really working on. We will have to you in the October 15th budget all of these issues spelled out with options so that you have a time to discuss it and meet with us and talk about it, answer any questions you have. And so that's my report, Mr. Chairman. If anybody has any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them right now.
Any questions for the Parish President? Mr. Thompson.
Yes, President. Mr. Katz handed out this revised personnel manual. Have we looked at checking into the parish government workers, the workers that work for the parish, looked at putting them up under civil service?
That was looked at when the charter was done, and it was it was turned down one time, I understand Mr. Blanc told me, and then when the charter was passed in 93, 94, that was completely left out. And so in order for something like that to take place, it would be part of the charter review that you guys are talking about now. I understand strategic planning, I understand both the chamber and the Mr. Brandt and his organization, Public Affairs Research, gave some suggestions a few years ago on some of those changes. So that would be something, Adrian, that the council would have to include in changes to the charter and then go to the people to vote on those changes.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Thank you, Mr. President. Number 7A, Fire District Number 1, bond. Mr. Jim Ryan or Mr. Dugas?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. We need a motion to lift the agenda for a 2/3 vote.
That's been taken care of already. You're on the agenda.
Okay.
We're taking the issue up now.
Thank you, Jerry. Jerry, there was a resolution passed by Fire District Number 1 authorizing the issuance of $3.5 million worth of revenue bonds. That was passed on July the 12th, 2005, for the acquisition and construction of fire station and purchase of equipment. I think we have a representative from Fire District Number 1, who wants to make a brief presentation on exactly what will be acquired and what will be used. And we would ask that the council approve a resolution going along with the acquisition of this equipment and the bond issue of $3.5 million.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes, sir. Well, the number one priority on our list is to get 7th District a new station built. As everybody's aware, they lost this station due to a fire several years back, and it's been one thing leading to another. Is why we haven't been able to get a new home there. But that's the number one priority for this bond issue, is to rebuild that station. Also, at Sandoval, we have a substation at Sandoval now. We need to build some buildings for that. Also at Galvez, we have several different fire areas we need to build substations for. Got some work at the headquarters. We need to do some work. We'd like to work our training center up, get our training center up and running. We have a lot of apparatus that are getting 15 up to the retirement age of 15 years. We had imposed on them some time back, and we'd just like to float this bond to make these improvements for the fire district.
All right. Mr. McConnell?
I move the resolution.
Second. Moved by Mr. McConnell, second by Mr. Byrigger. Any questions? I do have something that I think I would love to just sit here and vote and go forward, but in representing myself and the council, I have to share my concerns about not knowing a whole lot about what was going on here and the movement that the fire board decided to make. And this council, I do not believe this council as a whole was informed to the degree that we should have been informed going into tonight's decision. Now, I may be wrong. I may be the only one in the dark, maybe.
Yes.
But I do not believe. I think that we should have had a report from the fire board explaining and outlining exactly how the money was going to be spent, where it was going to be spent. And I just couldn't sit here and not say anything. I disagree with how it was approached. We need to do a better job, because at some point in time, you're going to get caught. You're going to come up here and you're going to ask for something that's really needed, and because you didn't do a good presentation, because we're the ones that got to answer to it. You're asking us to go borrow $3.5 million. I know I got a fire station in AC, my district, that needs to be brought up. I know 7th District and yeah, I understand all that.
Right.
But the job wasn't done that was necessary to fully inform this council to make a decision tonight, as far as I'm concerned. Okay, now I'm finished. Got a motion on the table. Any further discussion? Any opposition to the motion? Having none, motion passes. Thank you all. Number 8, acceptance of bids. Ms. Bonnie Burrell.
Good evening. On July 26th, we accepted bids for box culverts. One bid was received from Capital Concrete Products, who recommend accepting their bid.
Motion to accept the bid, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Mr. Thompson, second by Mr. Byrigger. Any questions? Any opposition? Having none, motion passes.
Also on July 26th, we received bids for a Grand Marquis and a Ranger pickup truck. We received 2 bids. The lowest bid for the Grand Marquis was All Star Automotive, and the lowest bid for the Ranger was Hickson Autoplex.
Motion by Mr. Jeffrey Lambert. Second by Mr. Adrian Thompson. Any questions? Any opposition? Having none, motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bonnie. Number 9, resolution, and I'm going to have Mr. Dugas come up and read the resolution.
Thank you. This is a resolution dealing with the East Ascension Consolidated Gravity Drainage District. It's a resolution granting approval to the Board of Commissioners, East Ascension Consolidated Gravity Drainage District Number 1 of the Parish of Ascension, Louisiana, to issue, sell, and deliver not to exceed $7.5 million public improvement refunding bonds, Series ST-2005. Whereas the Board of Commissioners of East Ascension Consolidated Gravity Drainage District Number 1 of the Parish of Ascension, Louisiana, on July 11, 2005, adopted a resolution granting authority to issue, sell, and deliver not to exceed $7,500,000 aggregate principal amount of public improvement refunding bonds, Series ST-2005 of the district, all in the manner provided for by Chapter 14-A of Title 39 of the Louisiana Revised Statutes of 1950 as amended, and other constitutional and statutory authority, a copy of which is on file with the Ascension Parish Council as governing authority of the Parish of Ascension, State of Louisiana. Whereas the district has made application to the Parish Council for approval of the issuance of the bonds more fully set forth in the district resolution, whereas the Parish Council is the successor of the Ascension Parish Police Jury, which created the district, and whereas Article 6, Section 15 of the Louisiana Constitution of 1974 grants power to the Parish Council to approve any proposal submitted by the district to issue bonds, now therefore be it resolved that the Parish Council is governing authority of the Parish of Ascension, State of Louisiana, that Section 1, pursuant to an application submitted to this Parish Council by the district, approval is hereby granted to the district to issue the district's not to exceed $7.5 million aggregate principal amount of public improvement refunding bonds, Series ST-2005, in the manner provided excuse me, by Chapter 14A of the Title 39 of the Louisiana Revised Statutes 1950 as amended, and other constitutional and statutory authority supplemental thereto as more fully set forth in the district resolution. Section 2, this approval is granted in compliance with the provisions of Article 6, Section 15 of the Louisiana Constitution 1974 as amended. This resolution having been submitted to a vote, the vote thereon was as follows. The resolution was declared adopted 29th day of July.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Adrian Thompson.
Second.
Second by Mr. Kent Shakespeare. Any questions? Any opposition? Motion passes. Thank y'all. Number 10, adopt a resolution donating fire truck, authorizing fire district number 2 chairman to execute donation. Mr. Babbitt.
This is simply a donation by CF Industries to Fire District 2 of a fire truck. By your ordinances, those properties have to be owned by the Parish of Ascension, and our charter requires that donations to the Parish of Ascension be accepted by you. We're asking you just to approve this resolution accepting the donation from CF Industries of the fire truck and authorizing the fire board chairman to sign that document.
Motion by Mr. Kent Shakespeare, second by Mr. Todd Lambert. Any question on the motion? Any opposition? Having none, motion passes. Number 11, renewal of fuel contract. Mr. Bill Rue.
Motion.
Mr. Bill Rue.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, members of council, Mr. President, the administration recommends renewal of the fuel contract with Road and Joe Robert Incorporated for one more year.
Motion by Mr. Adrian Thompson, second by Mr. Kent Shakespeare. Any questions?
Yes, sir.
Question, Mr. Byron.
You got some other quote?
No, sir, not on this one, because of the fact that this is an automated system, and what we want to do, because the contract is coming up for renewal, we have to act soon, and we recommend renewal for one more year. During that time, we're going to research switching the possibility of switching the automated system over to something else. It's an involved process, and again, that's why we recommend an acceptance of the contract for one more year. They put the system in, Councilman, and we have to go through looking at the possibility of totally switching it out, or somebody else buying it, and it's going to take a while for us to do that.
Any further questions? Any opposition to the motion? Having none, motion passes. Number 12, Hillaryville Sewer Project. contract approval, GSA.
Mr. Chairman, members of council, Mr. President, this actually came to the Utilities Committee, and it was a recommendation of the Utilities Committee to accept the contract. They already accepted the engineering firm GSA to do the engineering on the Hillsville project, and this is for the council to approve the contract and authorize the parish president to sign.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Adrian Thompson, second by Mr. Dempsey Lambert. Any questions? Any opposition? Having none, motion passes. D, which is authorization for Parish President Brian Hughes to execute the LCDBG contract between Ascension Parish and the state for the Hillsville sewer improvements.
Yes, sir, Mr. President, Mr. Chairman, President, members of council. This again is a signing the official documents with the state authorizing the LCDBG grant and authorizing the parish president to sign those documents.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Thompson,
Second.
second by Mr. Todd Lambert. Any questions? Any opposition? Having none, motion passes. Thank you, Bill. Number 13, motion by council authorizing President Hughes to execute the Viable Solutions contract pending legal review. Mr. Roy, you can take that up?
Yes, I am. This is formerly the Office of Juvenile Justice. This is a grant that we're asking to have the permission pending legal approval for parish president to execute so that we can go ahead and get the funds.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Mr. George Valentine, second by Mr. Todd Lambert. Any questions? Any opposition? Having none, motion passes.
Thank you.
Number 14, rezone property located on the east side of Highway 73, approximately 1,000 feet south of Seabrook Road, to amend the parish zoning map from medium intensity to mixed use of Tract B of the Haydale Landry Clean property. Joseph L. Clean Succession and Lafitte Apartments. And this is to accept or deny. We do have a couple of citizens wishing to speak on this agenda item. No, this is A. Okay, never mind. No one on A, miss? No one signed up on A? All right. No one signed up for 14? Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I move to accept the recommendation of Planning and Zoning.
Second.
Motion by Mr. McConnell, second by Mr. Todd Lambert to accept the zoning commission recommendation, planning commission recommendation. Any questions? Any opposition? Having none, motion passes. Thank you. All right, 14A, as I stated earlier, there would be no action taken on this agenda item. I will allow the public to speak on this one here since they made it out tonight. You have 3 minutes. Ms. Suzanne, you have, first one is Ms. Catherine Goppel.
I'll pass.
Pass?
I'll pass.
Okay. Mr. Sam Baker.
Hey, Mr. Sam.
Thank you to all of you for allowing me to get up here and speak this evening. This is something that I'm concerned about, and I felt like I needed to come and let you know my sentiments on this and how I feel, and I know that how most of the residents in my community feel about this project. You know, first of all, I know that this council represents all the people of this parish, and I know that this parish is growing in leaps and bounds, and it's incumbent upon this council to think about the developments that's coming into our parish and how they're going to affect the community that we live in. We expect this council to protect and preserve the well-being of the people of this parish and look out for their best interests, in that the things that you all do today, the decisions that you make, will affect not only us today, but it'll affect all of our kids and our grandkids. And you know, to us, this development is not a good thing for what we need here at this time along this route. So I hope and pray that our dear Lord give you all the wisdom to make the right decisions, and that you'll be looking out for the well-being of the people of this parish. We entrust this into your hands. We elected you and trust you to do the right things. We ask that when this comes up, that you reject this and send this back. I just don't think this is a good thing. You know, this government of the people and by the people and for the people means exactly that. I love this parish, and I want this parish to grow, and I want all of the good things that goes along with that. And sometimes there's things that come into this parish that's not good. But we as the people have designated you all as the ones to look out for us. And I wish that you would consider this. I know my time is run along, and I'd hope not to stay long, but you know, when something is clear and dear to your heart, because I live there, my kids live there, and I know I know some of the councilmen that live right there. You know, so the fact is that we need to do what's best for this community, and not let development come in and take the richness of this parish and leave with it, and we the people are left with the burdens of taking care of it after they have all done what they had to do and they're gone. So let us support the good ones, developments that come in for this parish, and once that's not good, let us just reject them. May God bless all of you all. Thank you for allowing me.
Thank you, Mr. Sam. Shannon Oxeno.
Good evening, Council. First, I'd like to thank you for just honoring the agenda item. Unfortunately, Mr. Grizafi has chose not to do that. It's my understanding this is probably the third or fourth time that this item has come up, and clearly needs to be addressed. I'm not going to speak to the particular project, but again, just want to thank you for your hearing our public comments tonight. Thank you.
Craig Rushing. Craig Rushing. That's it. All right. Number 15. Development Code table, accept or deny. Mr. Lance Brock.
I move to accept the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Moved by Mr. McConnell, second by Mr. Byrick. Is there any questions for Mr. Lance? Mr. Shake Snyder.
I want to thank Lance and the department for a lot of hard work and trying to get down. We had some inequities here that needed to be cleaned up, and it was a lot of hard work, so I want to thank y'all for what you did. And the Planning Commission, because they were working on it. Thank you.
Any further questions for Mr. Lance? Any opposition? Having none, motion passed.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Lance. So we'll move to the committee report. Strategic Planning Committee, Mr. Shake Snyder.
We have a waterway resolution that we had asked the council to approve creating a waterway commission, at which time we can send that to personnel that we can get started on doing, having a group of people that are cognizant of these ongoing problems that we're having on our waterways and help us out on some solutions.
Move the resolution, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Dempsey Lambert, second by Mr. Byrick. Any questions? Any opposition? Having none, motion passes.
That was the only thing we had voted on. We had a report on our discussions at the last meeting on the 27th. we had Mr. Gary Lacombe had come by, and as some of you may already know and that have been a councilman, some of you might not know that are new councilmen, we've had a charter commission that was formed some time ago and made a report, and we had some issues in there, and we would like to revive a part of the ongoing process of those things that were done by the last council was to, you have to revive a charter commission again, and so that was the discussions we had. We took that under advisement and are going to get a report at the next strategic planning meeting by a person that has been directly involved in the old charter commission and the information they came up with. And we'd like to invite all the council members to come by and be brought up to speed as to what has been done in the past. There's been a considerable amount of work and a few recommendations that were made. And so we want everyone to have an opportunity to hear this before we decide whether we're going to move forward with anything. So we want to take this opportunity, and if you could remind them, send a reminder out, Ms. Suzanne. We also was a discussion, for the parish, that a number of things came in under the concept of garbage and trash pickups. We talked about open burning, we talked about trash, we talked about moving to districts and such, and we took that under advisement. Mr. Fancy's going to come back with some proposals, and we're going to look into, and the consensus of people there is that we want to find some type of solution to our garbage and trash problem in the parish, and we're moving forward with that. We've also had a discussion on the permitting and selling of dirt for the purpose of collecting taxes that are not being taxed, and to be fair with it. There was just some discussion, and there's going to be a proposal at the next meeting for that. And that was it. And next meeting is on the 31st of August.
Thank you.
I need to ask you a question.
Mr. President.
Does everybody have a copy of the proposed changes that were done by the Charter Review Group in the past? All of you seen that? Any of you need copies of that? I think it was 2002. All of you have it? Thank you.
That's it?
Yeah, thank you, Chair.
All right. Number 17, Personnel Committee, Mr. Valentine.
Yes, Susie, if we don't have anything on the agenda at the Parish President's office for Tuesday, August the 2nd, I'd like to call a Personnel Committee meeting for 5:30.
I won't be able to make that.
You won't? Okay, that's right. Okay, I'll tell you what, I want to take up that waterways resolution. What I'll do, Mr. Scheckstein, I'll get an appropriate date, and we will set a personnel committee meeting and take up the waterways district. We also have a couple of agenda items, I think, Susie, as far as some spots that need to be filled, and also Judge Claybear's committee that he wants. I think there was 6. We are advertising for that. We did advertise for that yet? Yes. Okay. Okay. Well, we'll see. I'll get with you, and I'll get with the personnel committee to make sure we can attend. I know, Coach. I don't know if we said that at the beginning of the meeting. Coach is still in the hospital, as I understand it.
No,
he's home. Okay. And so make sure that Coach is on the personnel committee. We'll make sure that he's well, able to attend, and I'll make sure that we have enough people to attend that meeting. But I'll call one later, Chairman Savoy. Thank you.
All right. Vice Chairman of the Recreation, do we have anything?
We didn't have a quorum, Mr. Chairman. Couldn't have a meeting.
All right. Number 19, Transportation Committee, Ms. Fontenot.
Okay, we're going to pass on item A. It has not been through the Transportation Committee yet, and I have put it on the agenda for next month. Mr. Rue, you want to take B, C, D, and E?
Yes, ma'am.
It's been put on the transportation agenda.
Item B is a resolution. This is the recommendation of the committee for a resolution to install a three-way stop sign on Southwood Village Road in Southwood Village.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Fontenot, second by Mr. McConnell. Is there any question? Any opposition? Have none, motion passes.
Item C is a recommendation for a resolution to require all maintenance requests related to state ditches to be directed to DOTD. What that is really what the discussion was about, was that the parish was going to do ditch work and road work on parish roads and require DOTD to take care of state ditches. And so anytime we get a request to do something on a state road, we pass that along to DOTD, and just they take care of it from that point.
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Dempsey Lambert. Mr. Rube, I think we all know around this table here that it's probably impossible for the state to handle any cleaning of any state ditches right now. I think we need to kind of stick, if we want to get a top 20 list in each one of our districts, I think we need to start with that before we throw this back on the state, and we know the ditches are not going to get cleaned. That's just my feeling on this. A resolution like this, we need to, all of the council members need to know something before this is put on the agenda of this magnitude.
Madam Chairwoman, the committee felt that because in light of some information we received from the attorney when we tried to do a cooperative endeavor agreement on LA 73 for that intersection, it came to light that our attorney really has a problem with us voluntarily going and doing spending parish funds on state roads unless there's some type of cooperative endeavor agreement. That coupled with the fact that the committee felt that we have enough work on our own roads to keep our people busy. Again, this is the conversation that was conducted in the committee.
Mr. Valentine.
Mr. Chairman, it was a unanimous decision of the Transportation Committee to put forth this issue. One of the reasons is because we have had some controversy in the past with parish cleaning state roads. Now, this doesn't, I guess, preclude or eliminate drainage projects that might be crossing state roads, and certainly those would be taken care of. But just the fact that we would clean a state ditch out naturally without compensation or equal I guess work done by DOTD, we felt at the Transportation Committee that this was the right thing to do. And we have invited Representative Lambert, and we will extend Representatives Smiley and Quizair to come to our next transportation meeting to discuss some of the problems that we're having along these lines. But as long as we have as many parish roads, I mean, I'm trying to get ditches cleaned out of Babin Road, which was just redone, and I'm still trying to get the contractor to make sure that it gets cleaned out. I'm sure Mr. Rue's working diligently on that because we blocked up ditches on a brand new road. So I feel like this is a state's responsibility, and if it especially is going to create some problems with our budget and our manpower, we need to tend to those roads first.
Anyone? Mr. Shakespeare.
I just wanted to echo what Mr. Valentine was saying. We had, in our discussions, we had talked, and I'd spoken with the mayor in Gonzales, and they do absolutely no work on state roads in the city of Gonzales. And we, as we got into the discussion, we found out that we had an abundance of requests for just general maintenance of ditches on state roads. And a number of council members were holding back requests because they felt like it was state roads and the state people should be doing it. And so in order to, we found out right away that there was no way we could do all the projects that we wanted to do, and so we had to cut it off there. We were not intending at all to stop any drainage projects that would be going across a road if we needed to change a culvert out or something like that for drainage. And so if the parish is doing something that's going to improve drainage in an area, that's something that they take up with that, but that's a difference on the general maintenance is what the intent was. So with that, we just thought that the state should take care of that stuff.
Anyone else?
Let me just ask a question, if I could, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, Mr. President.
Bill, Ricky, attorneys here. Our drainage propositions, I hadn't read them in the last week or so, and obviously I don't remember. Does our drainage proposition allow us to do work on state highways? Does it specifically address that? Or I heard Bill say the attorneys were kind of uncomfortable in us doing work on state roads, but these outfall dishes and all, does our ad valorem drainage tax or our sales tax specific?
The drainage plan has no problem with it, but what we have a problem with is just doing wholesale state road maintenance. We have a contract with the state of Louisiana. We cut their ditches and they pay us. I mean, that's the. If we're going to do their work, you got to get paid for it. Generally speaking, if we're just doing their work for beautification of the highways, they do that, not us. We have a problem with donating public funds to the state so they can maintain their ditches. If it's for our drainage program that needed to be cut, we got no problem with that.
But isn't the state also really responsible for drainage on state roads too, as far as the ditches along state roads?
They're responsible to maintain the drainage of their roads. If those ditches also have an alternate use for draining some other basin, generally no. They don't have to go that far. They do have an obligation to drain their own roads. Some of those ditches have multiple functions. Some of them drain surface, the 60-foot surface of the road, or whatever the surface
Well,
is.
that's kind of my concern, because we know we're going to have a citizen call, and they'll see you working down there, drainage, and in their mind, they don't know, and like we stuck in traffic, we don't think this is a parish road, state road, or federal road. I just want a traffic fix, and I'm afraid we're going to get in a similar situation here a little bit with a lot of people. We're going to get inconsistent in what we're doing, because people are going to see us doing some work, and we say it's drainage, and then they're going to say, well, I want drainage, and really it's just maintenance. That's my concern, as the committee addresses this, that we come up with some way that we can consistently administer it where the citizens understand that differential. Because I can assure you the average citizen doesn't think parish, state, or federal. They just look at us as to solve the problems in the parish. And I can tell you from my conversation with DOTD, we are going to have, they're 6,000 miles behind on state roads right now. And they're not going to catch up with that anytime soon, I don't think. And so I just want to ask that we really put a lot of thought in this as we consider it, because, in theory, I absolutely agree with it. In practicality, I just don't know how it's going to work with our citizens. I wrote a letter to DOTD today addressing some issues, asking for help, but I've met with Mr. Bradbury 2 or 3 times now personally, and they don't have all the resources they need to do everything they're supposed to do. And we don't need it. And our citizens don't care, though. They didn't want to fix it. I blame one on the state today. He wrote back, hey, I don't care. Get the problem solved, right? So that's my only concern, that we address that bill, however you come up with some policies there.
Mr. Thompson.
Yes, I would like to commend the Transportation Committee on the job they've been doing. On the resolution to stop doing work on state road, I would like to make a motion that we send it back to committee and sit down and talk about this a little bit more before we do the resolution.
Got a motion by Mr. Thompson, second by Mr. Lambert, Dempsey Lambert, to refer item C back to committee. Question. Mr. Lambert, Todd Lambert.
Rick, in the past, most of the turning lanes on these state highways, it's going off of this drainage, but it's talking about doing work on state highways. The parish is funding these turning lanes on these state highways. How legal is that?
Most of them we have acquired. I think we're doing one at 621 and 73. We do get intergovernmental agreements where we do have some exchange of benefit with obligation between the parish and the state. In fact, that's what took so long to get that project done. One of the reasons our next why we need to do that, the reason was we needed an intergovernmental agreement between our 2 agencies before that's done. So generally speaking, we do that. And I'm glad you brought up those intersections because that gets a little more cloudy. There's something in a road intersection called a sight line. If you stop at the Parish Road intersection with a public road right away, what's the sight line? People coming off of our roads, they got to have a certain DOT, there's a certain standard, ASHTO standard of that sight line. Can you go in there and mow that sight line to make sure our roads are safe when they intersect with the state? I think that's, we can do that. So, I mean, it gets kind of fuzzy on what we can do and what we can't do. What we have a problem with is just the wholesale use of public funds to mow state roads just for beautification of it, just to make grass grow. Okay. That to me, we have a tough time articulating a public purpose served by the parish of Ascension.
One more, Jared. 4 months ago, I brought up some digging on state highways, and everybody agreed with it. It was all fine and dandy, and concluding administration. And in the past, when I was on board, we didn't do work on state highways. So it's funny how it's coming back up now, all of a sudden, when I've had some state highway roads be dug into. But I just wanted to bring it up. 4 months ago, this got brought up, and everybody approved it. It was okay because we pay state taxes. We ride on the road, so the parish should be able to dig the ditches. But so that was all brought up about 4 months ago, and I just wanted to bring that up that, I didn't agree with it then, and I'm glad the transportation came up with this particular outing on. Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, motion on the table to refer it back to committee. Any opposition to the motion? Having none, motion passes. Goes back to committee. Mr. Valentine.
Mr. Salvo, I will say in the for the sake of argument for Mr. Lambert and Councilman Thompson, certainly they're welcome to come to the Transportation Committee. They know where it is. We will put it back on the agenda, Ms. Fontenot, make sure we do that. But this is an item that we should all be in agreement with, I'm sure. But there again, if we don't agree with it, we must respect the wishes of this council.
Bill?
Yes, sir.
D.
Okay, D. Recommendation by the committee for a resolution, and it actually should read, resolution to DOTD to solve the problem, the drainage problem on Highway 73 from Highway 42 and 73 proceeding north to Brown Road.
Moved by
Again,
Mr. Shakespeare.
To send a resolution to the state.
Second by Mr. Thompson. Any question? Any opposition? Having none, motion passes.
E, the recommendation for the resolution to reserve a 200-foot corridor, 100-foot east and west of the road center line along the LA 44 from the Interstate 10 to the River Road as a corridor of preservation for enhancement projects. And actually, this is for us to begin the process. It's the approval or the recommendation of the committee for the council to authorize the administration to proceed with this process. We have never done this, so again, it's we're going to have to come back and report to the committee. But this is just to begin the process.
Mr. Shakespeare.
Just for a little background for some people, the general consensus is that at some point in time we need to either 3 or 4 lane at 44 there because of the excessive traffic. It has been shown on all. At this point in time, the state does not have the monies to do that, and they're just going to overlay it. And what we did not want to do is get in a situation where people have built right up to the road, and we would get to where we were on these other projects where we'd have to buy houses and buildings and such. And so they did an overlay of what the normal highway would be with the possible enhancements of a biking trail that could come later. And that's what they came up with, and that we would preserve that for future expansion, and that will save us a whole lot of money in the long run, and we just thought that was the best thing. So.
All right. Anyone else?
I got a question to make sure we understand. I'm glad to see Ricky walk back in. We're talking about these corridor preservations, Mr. Babbitt?
What?
Corridor preservations along state roads or parish roads where we may need to add capacity in the future. What is your legal, is that just a zoning issue? Does that get involved with taking of land, or can we do that You don't have to pay anything,
Oh, no, if you're gonna reserve something for somebody's property, you're gonna pay.
so we're going to pay now? In other words, if we pass this, we're going to start paying these people along these roads?
For, you wanna reserve the use for the parish?
Well, this is a state road we're talking about here.
Resolution to DOTD.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Just send it
It
to
begins
DOT.
the
It's not
process.
us.
Request to DOTD.
Actually,
That's
them to do it.
Asking them to do it? I don't think they do
It's-
that.
Again, this is, we have to check into, it. We have
Well,
never
let's say
done
it's a
this.
parish road.
And we
Let's
have
just
to
say a
go through
parish
the
road,
process.
because we're looking at this whole issue here, trying to prevent having a 42 situation in the 73, so future highway need. We take Roddy Road, we say we're gonna go along there now, and we're gonna make it this wide. We're gonna set that off. You can't build within that servitude. Do we,
You're gonna get that servitude to build it today, tomorrow, or 20 years from now. If you want that servitude today, you gotta pay the land on it today. And you can't go in and zone property just for government preservation. You can zone an area, residential. If you want to cut a road to that residential property, you're gonna have to buy it when you do it. You can't set aside a servitude until you pay for it.
that's why I
If
wanna
I'm
make
reading
sure
you-
we understand. And is a corridor preservation then setting aside a servitude?
I don't know what corridor preservation means under Louisiana law. There's no such thing.
Yeah, I can, may I?
Sure.
The only thing, again, this is a long discussion in the committee, and everybody's unsure about it. The first thing I think the committee wanted to do is say, we get a buy-in from all the council to see if it is possible, see what we can do. I can tell you that several years ago, the state was thinking about extending Highway 42 from 73 to the interstate with the intersection on the interstate. And they got up to a point where I met with state officials that they could not proceed any further until the parish actually made a corridor preservation of that route. So apparently there's something there. The committee wants us to go further and investigate it. It may come back where we come back to the committee and say it can't be done. They want, again, to get the council to say, okay, let's investigate it. We're behind you. If you can do it, let's look at it. Now, I think that was the intention of the committee.
Thank you.
All right. Anyone else? What's the wishes of the council?
Move to accept.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Shakespeare, second by Ms. Fontenot. Send a resolution. Any opposition? Having none, motion passes.
Thank you.
All right, number 20, Utilities Committee. I'm sorry, Ms. Fontenot, something
Well,
else?
I just wanted to say that we had sent a petition to DOT concerning installing a signal light at the intersection of Swamp and 61. We did ask that State Representative Eddie Lambert be invited to our next meeting, and also that the other representatives and senators be emailed so that they can have a chance to come to our meetings, that they'll know when they are, so that they can attend. And I wanted to remind everybody that our meeting is the second Tuesday of the month at 7 o'clock following the Utility Committee. Thank you.
All right, number 20, Utilities Committee, Mr. Thompson.
Yeah, we took up item 12 was two items that come out of the Utility Committee, and I'd like to pass on 20A and send it to the Utilities Committee.
All right.
That's an item, agenda item that hadn't been discussed at the Utilities Committee.
All right.
And
Anything
that's
else?
the second Tuesday in next month at 6 p.m.
All right. Is that all you have, Mr.?
That's it, thank you.
Number 21, introduction of ordinance.
I move to introduce the ordinance, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
There's an ordinance to consider abolishing Ascension Parish Recreation Governing Board. Motion by Mr. McConnell, second by Mr. Byrigger. Any questions? Any opposition? Having none, motion passes. For our information, the introduction will be at next week's meeting. Anything pertaining to a calling for a public hearing is going to have to be taken up at the second meeting of August, the August 18th meeting. All right. Number 22, introduction of an ordinance to consider ordinance authorizing donation through a cooperative endeavor agreement for Homeland Security grants. Mr. Babbitt.
Motion to introduce, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Byrigger, second by Mr. McConnell. Any question? Any opposition? Having none, motion passes. Introduction of ordinance to consider an ordinance providing for a sewer impact fee on all new tie-ins for parish-owned sewer systems.
Motion introduced, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Byrd, second by Mr. Thompson. Any questions? Any opposition? Having none, motion passes. Before we adjourn, I'd like to acknowledge Mr. John McMillan, which has been carrying the parish council meeting since I've been on board, and really have enjoyed working with him. He's taking on an assignment out of the country, and I don't know the details, but that's all I know. But John, appreciate the work you've been doing for us.
Thank God.
Motion by Mr. Byrd, second by Mr. McConnell, adjourned. Any opposition? Motion passed.
Wish
Good
you
night,
could have
everybody.
appreciated for you that like that.